And the reason they are finagling us into this is because we would be asking for territory. That's exactly what would be going on. We would be sort of requesting that, well, we're like the First Nations, being maybe the second peoples, if we're from here. They don't want that. They don't. And I decided to continue on my video because they're trying to toss me off. They have to keep the hope going, you guys. They must, because if they don't keep the hope, then you people are going to go bust. People will then disobey. And again, that is the whole entire function of the freedom movement right now. In my city, it's to make us look bad and to make our concerns look trite. But the bottom line is it's all about containment. And we've been talking about it, and I've been talking about it since my experiences with the groups. I don't like being contained. In any case, guys, the plan is, yes, I got back here, Alan, I did. Again, they just want to knock me off. I have a new Nada mask. This one's really pretty because it's kind of got a little bit of a see-through to it. Anyway, I like it because it's kind of fluffy and it's a ribbed. For special occasions, when you want to look sharp. Plus, it doesn't mess up your makeup. And I like that. I like to wear lipstick. You know what's interesting is I'm hearing a lot of this, the buzz, that a lot of women like it. They like it so they don't have to put their makeup on. They don't have to get all dolled up anymore. And, well, they're grooming you to be modest. And what's interesting is the women are actually liking it. Yesterday, I passed 5 kids walking, and I caught them on one block, and it was 45 minutes till I caught them on the next block. And I was going around waiting for my laundry. Every one of them, all 5 of those kids, wearing the muzzle the entire time. It's outside. It is 16 degrees. It's gorgeous out, and their faces are covered. It's absolutely sickening to watch. It truly is. But everywhere I look outside, it is actually an oddity to see a bare-faced person. And again, in the middle of nowhere, all by themselves, they like it. It is giving them a sense of security, of anonymity. And what blows me away mostly is the men doing it. I don't understand how... If one's walking towards me on the sidewalk, I cross the street. And I've had a couple of them go, well, hey, what's your problem? And I'm like, you're a masked man coming directly at me. I don't think so. Like, that's not comfortable, and you're not going to dumb me down to start believing that that's okay, because it's not. As far as I'm concerned, a masked man is a threat, and always will be. And I'll never accept one talking to me. I don't like it. And I don't trust it. And it means I don't trust you. And that's just the way it is. And again, this is what they are trying to instill. So I'm actually kind of going along with it. But at the end of the day, honestly, it sickens my stomach to see it. It truly does. Can't help it. But I don't want to pretend that it's all okay, because it's not. The fact is they need, and their threshold is 70% of this amendment. Again, we saw the psychology of this. Now we are seeing that, well, we're going to have different tiers in terms of travel now. If we're not unvaccinated, to come back to Canada is going to be a hassle. And again, it makes me not, well, I'm not welcome in my own country. a country I used to be proud of, a country I marketed throughout the world, a province that I marketed throughout the world as a wonderful opportunity. They've betrayed us, and they're betraying humanity. I spent the year doing what I said I would do, and it's been close to a year and a half now. I don't know, I sort of made a pact with the divine that I felt that it was my duty to warn humanity about what's happening and what's occurring. And I've done that now, and I'll continue to do it, but I have to change my program a bit. We have to seek solutions, and that, for me, doesn't mean living in my country anymore. I think a lot of people are coming to the same conclusion, that we've been betrayed. And to stay here, well, I don't trust the government. And I honestly believe that we are in harm's way being the unvaccinated and staying here. I truly do. So I want to help people empower themselves to make the moves they need to, that speak to your soul and who you are today. To stay here does not reflect the woman I am. And there comes a time when you realize that you are actually allowing abuse to happen to you every single day. And I'm not that kind of girl. We're being gaslit and abused. And this psychological abuse that continues on day in, day out, not one politician is actually listening to us, because the rest, they're put, as far as I'm concerned, they're put-ons. Because again, if they were truly legit, they would be talking about the agreement that has us agreeing to submit to 99% vaccination. And that has never been the case in our country. I saw how the mask went down, and that was pure abuse, which is why I created Not a Mask. Because I knew I had to keep my eye on the ball. What we have to do now is we truly have to start making plans. Or, well, you're agreeing to abuse. I won't. And I hope I'll have a lot more people following my lead. The first is the belief in yourself, and the fact that all the comforts and everything that you thought you had are now gone. They're not coming back. And I know even the freedom people that have been listening to me and believe that the hope that is being created by a freedom movement is not helping you right now. Because I'm telling you, this is on. They're doing it. You're watching it. And there is no justice. I said it about the mask in September. I said it that early. There is no justice. You are going to have to create justice for yourself. And that's what I intend to do. And a lot of people before me are doing it. I saw the writing on the wall over 10 years ago. But I couldn't believe in my heart that we would be betrayed. That our country and everything that we have been brought up to believe in was literally set up to destroy us. I know a lot of people who are off the grid and have really set down roots in different provinces. Is it your suggestion or move to a more lenient place like Mexico? No, there's no sitting tight. I don't believe it. It's time to make moves. We must. it's going to come to a point in time where you will not be able to get medical treatment. And in my last video that I got cut off of, this is just my second part. Again, Regina Hospital, General, woman can't get a DNC. They want her dead baby to sit inside of her because she won't get this. They made it difficult for her. They pushed her to the back of the line. And this is what's going on. If you think you're going to get health care and not agree to be genetically modified, you're not going to. It's not going to happen. We're seeing it now. And it's not mandated. Just like we saw in the hospitals. I had women with getting chemotherapy and they had to wear the muzzle. They would not allow them to endure the chemotherapy without it. Or their solution was to medicate them. I can tell you, if you don't come to their way of thinking, their next step is going to be to medicate you. It is. There is a huge focus on this mental health, and they don't want all of you talking about it. And I'm telling you, don't talk about your mental health in public, ever. Again, they have been softening people into letting down their defenses, and you need those defenses, and you need to go with your gut. And if your gut's telling you that something's off, which mine is going alarm bells, it is. I'm sorry, but I'm getting stories every single day, and again, doing the social media so much, I'm in contact with a lot of people. The stories I told, I had one woman tell me 3 separate stories on the amendment the other day, one of which resulted in death. It's crazy, but it's happening. I have friends that have parents that are being, again, pressured into going and getting the amendment. I can't believe this is happening, but again, it is. And we have to go, all right, we see it, we know it. It's not coming back. The new order has been injected. That is the whole point of these public health emergencies. This is a new way of medical. It's AI-led and driven. Everything that's happening is AI-driven right now. This is why we don't make sense of it. Because it's not our sense, it's machine sense. Wisdom is gone. The human is merely the messenger. And that's what's going on. And whoever programs the AI, well, of course, they have all the power, right? The fact is, if you're invested in a pension, you're actually invested in your imprisonment and eventual demise. You are, because again, Canada Pension Plan is invested in all of this nonsense. All of your banks. We're being plunged in, whether we like it or not. All done by design, yes, of course, Carl. Very inhumane treatment. Whoops, didn't mean to do that, sorry. Yes, well, there'll be nowhere to run. You know, the thing is, okay, so I found a couple of places. In Chiapas, Mexico, there are a few villages, areas that are saying no vaccination. They don't want it. Indigenous areas. But that area has been, again, protectionist for a long time because there's a lot of resources in that area and the new order wants it. Belarus, for example, again, they weren't pushing that vaccine and they weren't going along with the new order so well. But now they're under Russia's wing. What they did, the president did the other day, Lukashenko, is that he actually hijacked a plane out of the sky. Said there was a bomb threat, and there was a person, kind of like me, that gets up there and speaks. And this guy is actually quite well known, though. He goes all through Europe and that territory. And he has put on protests and all of this sort of thing. Or they were accusing him of that. And they literally hijacked that plane from the sky saying there was a bomb threat. And they had to come to Belarus and land. And that's where they snagged the guy. The rules are all changing, guys. They are. And again, people resting on the Hague Convention and resting on the Nuremberg Code. And no, okay, this is why this is all being disrupted. They don't give a shit about that. They don't. Again, this is time to start making those decisions and start losing the dead weight. Because see, the people you're trying to convince truly are dead weight at this point. They are. Once this product begins to assemble in their bodies, they become owned by the New Order. I mean, again, a lot of people think we're talking sci-fi here, but that's not the case. This is assembling. There was a huge disconnect between humanity, again, with the genetically modified food, again, the vaccines over the years, the amendments. Look at the proliferation of cancer. All I know is we're going to have to, again, take the bull by the horns. Stop listening and stop believing that there is hope, because see, that's all to maneuver you and massage you into this new way of being. Social credits, all of it. And of course, never being able to escape this medical matrix of your shots, and everyone taking an axe to your natural system. You see, we're not going to be the ones that sort of meld into that system. That's going to take time and culling, because see, that's how this is done. Not everybody is supposed to come along for the ride. And of course, Agenda 2030, sustainable development, no poverty, all of these lofty utopian goals. Well, you think they're going to do that with 7.8 billion people? No, we're not all coming for the ride, my friends. And the idea is to delete a lot of the population and make it look as natural as possible. You see, going and bombing the shit out of places, that's not so much in fashion anymore. It's happening. And again, in places where they want to wipe that slate clean. That's what's happening there. And here, how they're going to wipe the slate clean is they have to do it a little bit more clean. Where are you there? Oh gosh, I keep losing people. There will be nowhere to run unless we fight. Well, are you going to pick up arms? Is that what's going to happen here? Because the problem is you're not. People aren't. We have been socialized into slavery. We have. I don't understand. Again, the fight. The people, are they going to stop going to their jobs? Are they going to stop working? Now, many are because of the vaccine. So will you be able to afford to live here even? Again, if you're not somebody who wants to submit to universal basic income. And again, you're not going to get any of those perks of this new society, like universal basic income, if you won't do it and do everything you're told. I just don't think Canadians, again, we've been socialized to be pussies. I actually want to go somewhere where they actually know how to fight for what they believe. Because I think that's what it's going to come down to it. I really do. Not here. I don't know. Oh gosh, yeah. They're even pushing off surgeries 1 to 3 weeks, depending on the surgeon, if you have been vaccinated. But if you're not vaccinated, you're looked at like a black sheep. It's disgusting. It is absolutely disgusting, Ashley. It is. And again, this is not our Canada. And that's why I keep telling everybody that foreign forces have taken over, because they truly have in the World Health Organization. This is global governance. This isn't our Canada. Those politicians, they're nothing but mouthpieces. That's all they are. They have no power. And of course, you guys all heard Scott Moe the other day, right? Like, just get vaccinated if you want your freedoms back. You said it straight out. Again, what more do we require? Okay? Like, we want to... What I'm hearing when I hear statements like that coming from the premier of this province is that I absolutely disrespect anyone for any reason that will not toe the line. And that to me is absolutely unacceptable as a leader. You know exactly why Scott Moe is there today, right? Like, he killed somebody driving many years ago, and it kind of got swept under the carpet. But he'd already had a DUI too. And now he's paying his bill. That's what I think. And I think it's disgusting. They're traitors, every one of these people. Ha ha ha, come to Serbia. They tried to do the new lockdown and they rioted for weeks. I'll go down fighting alongside the Serbs if that's what it comes to. Right on, Anthony. This is it. You know, again, I want to go where they're actually going to stand up to this, and where there's actually a culture of people that value their natural immunity. Again, here, I've been part of natural products, and again, for years, and I get myself stuck in the echo chamber of that. I do. Because it makes you assume that everybody is, you know, tries to take care of themselves. And this is why they have a classification of people called, well, useless eaters. The Asilomar Conference? Yeah, that's where they talked about that. That's where those concepts emerged, my friends. And there's no room for those useless eaters in this utopiaville that they're claiming to create. Not everybody's going for the ride. And again, our bodies are not set up for this adaptation. They're not. Life will never be the same. And if we have no politicians or anyone speaking about this, and again, more than speaking about it, standing up for us, standing up for Mother Nature, standing up for natural systems on Earth. There's many of us, but we're not in positions to influence this at all. And again, there's seemingly no defense here, unless you go somewhere where you can live your life and not have to integrate with this. In a third world nation, you're not going to have the testing capabilities. You're not going to have all of that infrastructure. This is why it's so easy in the West to pull this shit off. They don't have that there. And again, I think it's going to be safer. It's time to look at how you had planned your life. Because again, a year ago, I was already saying this. And then by August, I was like starting the Great Awakening from within, trying to bring you along to the reconciliation and again, forward movement. Because right now, you're just in this spinning wheel, a hamster wheel of this happens, this happens, this happens, rah, rah, rah. That is absolutely... You're being disingenuous with yourself. And I'm not doing it anymore. I can see what's happening. I've been talking about it for over a year. And then again, as soon as these vaccine passports come out, everything I've been saying for a year and a half has coming to fruition. And just like I said it would. So, no, but I don't discount what I know. And I think all of us must get to that point so that we can make the arrangements we need to make in order to endure what's to come. The political system needs to go. Self-governance by the people is the only true way to actually enjoy real, legitimate freedom. Now, at this point, that I think we're beyond that. Carl, I do. I wish I wasn't saying that, but Again, if I saw any opposition to it, if even Maxime Bernier was coming out going, again, in preservation of Mother Nature, actually even mentioning Agenda 2030, he won't mention it. Tells me he's in on it. Again, Michelle Rempel. We've got Rachel Harder. Oh, they're always throwing the women right to the front of the line on this. And I can't believe these women betraying humanity like this. It's absolutely unbelievable. You see, that's what they were looking for at those little UN things. Women like that would take the suggestion and then stab you in the back. They didn't find that in me. So I'm here doing this unpaid. But at the end of the day, I believe in humanity. And I believe if we're going to preserve our humanity, and that is in its entirety, I mean physically, mentally, and spiritually, we're going to have to make some moves, my friend. And we have to be more than discussing it at this juncture. Stop believing what they're feeding you and look at the facts. Get out of those echo chambers, because the freedom movement is making you think you've got more clout than you do. I'm hearing it, and I'm sorry, guys. That is not the case. It's not what the facts suggest. More than suggest, it's coming down. It's in your face. Bernier was still with Harper before the UN. Of course he was. Again, I followed that guy before the last federal election because I wasn't full-time on Agenda 2030, but I spent a good couple hours a day educating his people on his feed about Agenda 2030. And that was, started 5 months before this last federal election. And he didn't mention it. It was never mentioned. It was pretty clear that his following didn't understand the agreement that would change the world. This is why I embarked on it a year and a half ago, to educate all you as to what was going on. And again, even a year ago, they weren't believing me when I was saying they want 99% vaccination. It is an international commitment. It is. It's in print. So we have to honor what's in print right now. We've got to stop listening to the manipulation. What do you do when you're with somebody who's a manipulator, a gaslighter? You can't continue negotiating. You have to cut the cord in its entirety. You must, because there's no other way. I'd like to make an appointment for a vaccine and ask them to show me the bottle. Oh my gosh, I lost you there. And explain every ingredient in it and what it does to my body. Record it just to see what they say. They get out and walk out. Or have them load the syringe and drive it right into their arms. Honestly, I don't even want to see that, Ashley. I talked about a woman who knows a doctor, whose sister is a doctor. And she got it, and she's been on oxygen ever since. This is in Saskatoon. See, all of these odd reactions are not so odd at all. They're not. They're not. They're right in your backyard. Again, people are not they believe it to be benign. So when you believe it to be benign, it's benign. It's not a factor when something goes off, right? In any case, guys, I'm not a woman who stays in abusive relationships. And I'm a woman who goes with my gut. And I'm going to end on a note today about a story. And about how you know when your gut is right. Because a friend of mine, she had a boyfriend. And she really, really loves him. I know she does. And in the fall, she had a suspicion that he was messing around. So, she did. She found out. She snaked him on Tinder. I met her about that time. And I honestly, truly respected it because she knew and she followed through with what she knew to prove it. And then they got back together and, he promised the world and he was, everything was fine. And any case, this goes on for a few months, and it's great. She's telling me it's great, but then the last month I wasn't hearing anything about him. So I kind of thought, what's going on? And in any case, well, started to get a feeling a month ago, and she just knew something was off. And it was little things. And again, things that were just, and she filed it. And then the other day, he was supposed to go out of town to go to work. And it was just the way he said something. And she went home. And she was having, some personal issues, got kids. This vaccine is one of those issues. Again, it's the continual pressure from her parents. And then she figured out her parents and kids were talking about what was going on behind her back. And again, all of this nonsense. She has a feeling, and she decides to get in the car and go see if he's there. And there she finds him and, his ex-girlfriend's vehicle in front of the apartments. So what he was doing was actually, see you later. I might be going tonight to my job, or, now it might be tomorrow. Well, she found out what was really going on, and she went there and she walked right in. I love her. In any case, her gut was absolutely 100% correct. Yes, it was. And my point of all of this is that, again, you're here for a reason. Your gut knows it's not right. You are getting the evidence over and over, even if it's in a feeling. We're seeing it in print now. It's right before your very eyes. And to deny it at this point, well, you shouldn't deny your gut. You shouldn't wait until you get the reaction. You shouldn't allow yourself to be pressured, because if you are around these people who are determined to get you jabbed, well, again, they're not in your best interest. I know that it's hard to make these massive decisions on a feeling. But you must, because this is the last time you're going to really be granted that opportunity. You see, once all of this starts to assemble, it's done, okay? Because the transition has begun. And that is to integrate your mind into the cloud, into the hive, and to lose the individual of you, your body, your mind, and your spirit. I want you to think about that this weekend. I really do. And again, I know the people that follow me have the gut. That's why you're here. And again, how much more do you have to see in order to say, whoa, it's time to part company? Because it's not healthy to continue to engage with someone who clearly doesn't respect you, being our government, a boyfriend, a husband, someone who belittles you because you won't go along. If you subject yourself to the abuse, well, you're being part of it. I know this isn't easy, my friends, but again, this is a time and place in history that is absolutely unprecedented. It truly is. I wish you all the best. Canada is a slave country. Yes, it is. You know what, Anthony? I can see you there. Anthony is over there in Serbia, and he left. And of course, he's been a real activist in Alberta, and he made his decision. And I see films every night just about a place where everybody's maskless. We're here. Again, Saskatchewan, I'm sorry, it's Moronville. Again, walking around outside. We don't even have pollution here. It is very minuscule, okay? This is a small city. And I'm watching kids and adults alike outside wearing a mask because they are literally comforted by it. There is no other conclusion that you can come to. And I just don't want to see it in my life. I don't believe in abusing myself. I believe in celebrating. And I'm going to do it for as long as humanly possible until they take it from me for good. But I'm not going to let them take it from me. Screw that. Where do I plan to go? Mexico is sort of, on the radar because I know that those places have a real strong expat community. I know that they won't be able to afford to vaccinate for quite a while, all of them. But I don't know that that's the end all be all because China has a whole lot of influence in Mexico. Nicaragua never locked down. It never did. They are maintaining a sensible program. They are dealing with the Sputnik vaccine as well. But again, it's not a push. It's not that. Again, this is a poor country. You see, this is the thing about this for us. See, these poor countries represent opportunity for us from the West. They do. Because they need our know-how in a lot of cases. And you can build wonderful small businesses in places like that. Because, again, a lot of people, they just need the leg up, right? And I'm kind of going, you know what? I would rather start all again and support people that are working to support themselves. And again, building a bit of my legacy into positive solutions and a place where I can live out my days in peace as a human. I don't want to be genetically fried. I'm not interested. And again, I've stayed away from the food even. I'm very strict about that. I always knew it wasn't right. And again, I believe that we're going to be the last humans on this earth to have been human in our entirety. And, well, I want to celebrate that. I don't want to live in depression in this. I don't want to be surrounded by people that do not speak to my soul. And, well, if in fact it will be perpetual lockdowns for years to come, I want to be warm. I do. Because honestly, like in the day I'm okay, but like 4 o'clock comes, it has to be 23 in my house or I'm freezing to death. I've got a toucan. I want to be somewhere I'm warm with plants, lushness and green. Canada doesn't appreciate us, my friends. The United States doesn't appreciate us. And for them to allow this tyranny to go on to this point tells me there is no turning back. It's time to move forward. Because we have the know-how. We have the technology. We have the education. What they've socialized out of you is the balls. And I'm going to teach you how to grow those. And not be afraid of what's to come. Because we need positivity in our lives. And we need something to look forward to. Because all this negativity can do nothing but take us straight down. I refuse. And I hope you'll join me in plotting a path that again speaks to you. Have a wonderful weekend.